Welcome to the 11 on 11, our weekly wrap-up of the top stories we covered this week. I'm Ashley King. We begin with new details in the shocking death of a teacher's aide outside the Rockefeller Pre-K in Little Rock. And a warning, some of the details are disturbing. Court documents show suspect Dwayne Nooner confessed to running over Michelle Butler several times before getting out and shooting her. Catherine Rowley reports on what else new court documents reveal.
First, we start with the details that we learned from a probable cause letter from the Little Rock Police Department. It details how the call came into the LRPD dispatch, and the person on the other end of that 911 call told them how they saw Michelle Butler struck repeatedly by that black vehicle. Shortly after, a second call came in. This caller stated that a teacher had been shot by an unknown male. Witnesses at the scene told police that they had witnessed the unknown male strike Butler with that black vehicle, exit the car and shoot Butler multiple times before getting back in his car and fleeing the scene. Surveillance footage also showed that Butler was struck by this car multiple times. Dwayne Nooner, who is the suspect, then ran over Butler's body while she was on the ground. Butler was a member of the Order of the Eastern Star. They described her as the life of the party, the first to step up to volunteer, and someone who always had a smile on her face. They also said that she was a loving mother to her 3 boys, and her devotion, guidance, and pride in them were unmatched. They sent a statement, and part read, whether that means providing meals, simply being present to listen, or supporting her boys, we will show up because service is what brought us together, and Michelle was deeply committed to serving others in the community. We hold you all in our hearts and are committed to honoring Michelle's legacy alongside you. Nooner entered a not guilty plea yesterday morning and is now being held in the Pulaski County Jail on 0 bond. A review hearing is scheduled for October. Back to you.
Meanwhile, police say the final suspect wanted in April's deadly mass shooting at a Conway City Park is now in custody. U.S. Marshals and Arkansas State Police SWAT capturing Conway Johnson Thursday in Pine Bluff. His brother Kedrick Johnson had already been caught by marshals in Pine Bluff back in June. Conway Johnson now faces 2 counts of capital murder, 9 counts of attempted capital murder, and 1 count of terrorism. He's the 4th person arrested in the case. With attention coming from around the world after the killings of a married couple along a hiking trail, critics are questioning why the accused killer's recent court date went behind closed doors. Andrew McGann pleaded not guilty, but the media and public couldn't see that after the judge closed the courtroom. Bo Russell looks into how often that's ever allowed.
I've gotten a lot of questions through email and social media about McGann's arraignment, but before I get to those, let me back up and quickly recap what's happened since McGann was arrested. On August 1st, Andrew McGann made his first appearance before a judge for an 8.1 hearing. Media was allowed into the lobby of the Washington County Jail's courtroom, where the courtroom's live feed was played through a TV in the lobby. A few weeks later, on August 14th, media arrived at the county jail for McGann's arraignment and were greeted by a court order on the door, prohibiting media from recording inside or around the courtroom. That's not unusual in high-profile cases like this one. What was unusual, however, was that the TV and speakers were turned off, and black paper covered the window looking into the courtroom. When asked about the decision to close the hearing to the public, Washington County Prosecutor Brandon Carter had this to say.
This office has released all of the facts of the investigation that it's ever going to release in this case.
Following the hearing, I posted this video on 5 News social media accounts explaining what had happened at the county jail. We immediately received comments and emails seen here, raising questions and concerns as to why the hearing was closed to the public. Even State Senator Terry Rice of Waldron raised questions about this during a Game and Fish in Arkansas State Police meeting.
I read an article while we were sitting here about the judge closed the courtroom today and even taped over the one window that you could see in the courtroom, but I don't understand that either.
I spoke with Rice again today. He tells me that there needs to be transparency and that laws are in place for a reason. According to Arkansas State Code 1610-105, a judge can only close a hearing to the public if they file an articulate and specific reason as to why the public's viewing of the hearing would hinder a defendant's right to a fair trial. So that catches us up to speed on the August 14th arraignment. Since then, 5 News has submitted Freedom of Information Act requests to the Washington County Prosecutor's Office, Public Defender's Office, and the Sheriff's Office, asking for all recorded discussions regarding the decision to close the arraignment to the media. Now, just moments ago, we received a response from the Prosecutor's Office saying the 4th Judicial District Prosecuting Attorney's Office does not have any records relevant to your request. The decisions referenced in your inquiry were made by the court independently and without any motion or input from this office. I reached out to Judge Joanna Taylor's office multiple times and received the same response each time. We're not going to talk about this case. Earlier today, I spoke with a member of the Judicial Discipline and Disability Committee. They were not able to provide comment on this case, but did tell me there is, quote, rule of judicial conduct that judges are expected to follow.
Bo Russell reporting for us. Again, state laws do say a reason has to be given to close the trial. That reason, if there is one, has not been made public. We have filed those open records requests and will hopefully have more information soon. And local faith leaders are urging Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders to reconsider Act 302, Arkansas's new law allowing nitrogen gas executions. The law took effect August 5th, requiring death row inmates to breathe pure nitrogen, cutting off their oxygen. Supporters argue it's justice for taking a life, but opponents, including clergy, call it inhumane and say the state should focus on helping victims with healing and recovery.
We want to be clear that we know heinous acts of violence are committed in this state, and the perpetrators of those acts should be held accountable for the sake of the common good. But when we respond to violence and death with more violence and death, even the state-sponsored sort, then we perpetuate the cycle rather than break it.
The governor's office tells us she will be, quote, thoughtful and deliberative in each case while enforcing Arkansas law. And the debate over mail-in voting is heating up again at the national level, with President Trump railing against the process yesterday. But state and local officials say conditions are much different here. Maya Ellison breaks down what voters need to know ahead of future elections.
On Monday, CBS News reported that President Donald Trump is pushing to end mail-in voting nationwide. This comes after he repeated claims about cracking down on what he calls, quote, voter fraud.
We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud.
But is that something that Arkansans can expect ahead of next year's elections? Well, THV 11 took these questions to state leaders like Pulaski County Circuit Clerk Terry Hollingsworth.
The president doesn't dictate what the states do as it relates to absentee balloting.
Arkansas still offers absentee voting, but there are conditions. To qualify, you must meet specific criteria.
You must be unavoidably absent. You must be unable to attend the polls due to illness or a physical disability. You must reside in a long-term nursing facility or be unable to show up due to some religious reason.
And when it comes to filling out your absentee ballot, Hollingsworth tells me that everything must be correct in order for your vote to be accounted for. Other than that, she says that there isn't much that can change. Though she does point to a recent law, Act 846. If you mark, quote, unavoidably absent, a witness is now required to confirm your ballot.
This is the law, and this is what we have to deal with. And so that's why our office tries to do things as well as educate the citizens of Pulaski County.
She worries that it could impact older voters.
That, to me, is really disenfranchising those folks who are older, our most vulnerable folks.
Cole Jester, the state's top election official, says securing the vote is a key focus of his office. In a statement to THV 11, he says, quote, we will always put election security first, and that, quote, mail-in ballots are innately less secure than voting in person. And in the 2024 primary, over 3,500 absentee ballots and more than 108,000 early votes were cast in Pulaski County alone.
Have no fear that we are still doing absentee ballots, that if they need an absentee ballot, that they must call their county clerk's office, whether they're in Pulaski County or any other county in Arkansas.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
And there are 8 states where an entire election can be conducted by mail-in ballots, according to the MIT Election Lab. And Arkansas is among 15 states that have excuse-required mail-in ballot systems. And ahead of elections in March, Hollingsworth says new forms to request an absentee ballot from the Secretary of State's office will be available at a later date. And a heads up for registered voters in Pulaski County, you may need to update your voter status. Every other year, county clerks are required to maintain up-to-date and accurate voter registration information under Arkansas law and the National Voter Registration Act. Officials in Pulaski County say there are more than 40,000 registered voters who did not cast a ballot last November. Those people will receive a postcard in the coming days asking them to verify their current address or a change in address. If a voter does not reply within 30 days, their registration will be placed in a removable status and they'll have to re-register to vote before the next election. Now to an update and a story we've been following for several years. A federal judge is preparing for a trial next year in the lawsuit over the firing of Saline County's former library director. Patty Hector and the ACLU are suing County Judge Matt Brumley and the Quorum Court. She says they illegally fired her in 2023 when she objected to removing or restricting books some had labeled obscene. Initial briefs in the case prompted federal judge James Moody to set a jury trial for next July. Parties need to get together for a conference in the case by the end of next week. And plans for a new park over I-30 in downtown Little Rock is starting to move forward after Tuesday night's city board meeting. Board members voted 7-2 to approve a study to plan this park out. But as Carter Thweet shows us, not all of them like the idea.
Ayes have it. Consent agenda has passed.
Tuesday night, the Little Rock City Board voted to award Arkansas-based engineering firm Garver $2.5 million to plan a potential deck park above I-30, specifically between 9th and 6th Street in downtown. $2 million of those dollars were given to the city by a grant in 2023, but the other $500,000 would come out of the city's Public Works Fund.
We face issues with our city streets and whether or not we spend $500,000 out of our street fund to do this. And I get it. It's just tough to have a conversation with our constituents about why we can't pave roads.
That was Director Lance Hines' reason for skepticism at last week's agenda meeting, but he ended up voting yes, unlike Director Kathy Webb, who voted no, saying the city has enough to worry about without a brand new park.
We have 63 parks, I believe. We don't take care of those parks. This gives me a lot of concern, and we don't take care of the potholes either.
Also against the park is the city's own downtown master plan, led by an independent firm last year. It said alternatives should be looked at due to potential cost concerns, among other things. But Director Virgil Miller, one of the park's bigger supporters, says it would be worth it and provide more than just a fun place to be.
Trying to connect east part of Little Rock with where our downtown, making sure we don't cut that off again, I think is extremely important.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
And as previously mentioned, Miller got his wish with the board approving the planning study to move forward. As far as what will actually be in the park, that's what the planning process is for, with one city board member telling us they plan to get community input on that as the process moves forward. And a state official is telling everyone to be on the lookout for money in the mail. The message from the state auditor that you need to hear coming up. Well, part of the wraparound services for people enrolled in the state's Medicaid program, free rides to hospitals and clinics when you need them. They can be vital to people with disabilities or just facing tough times. But in an 11 News investigation, Carter Thweet shows us some say one of the leading transportation providers has been dropping the ball instead of dropping patients off.
It's a lifesaver if you don't have a vehicle of your own.
That's the situation Anna Merwin of Conway is in. She doesn't own a vehicle and couldn't get to her physical therapy and other appointments if she didn't have Medicaid. That allows her to take advantage of Verida, the only company in Central Arkansas that can get those on Medicaid to and from the hospital.
Insurances won't pay providers directly like myself. You have to go through a broker.
So when Jennifer Tabor, also of Conway, wanted to start a business to bring people to the hospitals, she had to go through Verida. They helped with her insurance and paid for her trips, at least until one of her 3 vehicles broke down in May.
Come July, the van's still in the shop, and now our pay has deducted a lot because it wasn't running. And our insurance for those 3 vans were $5,800 a month. and I couldn't afford the July payment.
So Jennifer could no longer work for Verida or anybody to take people to the hospital. Robert Meisner of Morrilton, who Jennifer often took to dialysis, says it was a huge loss.
Jennifer's very reliable. She's here on the spot. I don't have to worry about her being late, picking me up.
With Jennifer out of the picture, customers could still schedule rides with Verida, but now they're often unreliable, according to Merwin Meisner and Angela Kruger, who says she missed an appointment on Wednesday.
My appointment was like at 12:45. Well, they didn't show up till like 1:30. So I had to cancel that one.
Sometimes it is good and sometimes it's really bad. I've had them cancel my ride.
Physical therapy 2 weeks ago.
What happened with that?
Just nobody to show up. There was nobody to give me a ride.
The majority of the company's online reviews tell a similar story. Jennifer feels she'll be able to help once the business gets back up and running, but in the meantime, it's not easy to see.
I've been getting calls from some of our regular members saying that they haven't received transportation, that no one showed up to bring them to dialysis, that there's a couple that had to pay for taxi cabs out of their own pocket. Really, the biggest thing I want is someone to help these people.
In Conway, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Verida sent us a statement saying in part factors like traffic, vehicle malfunctions, and driver availability all play a part in transportation. They say they are proud that over 98% of all Medicaid trips in Arkansas are completed as scheduled. We're not yet able to verify that figure, but Verida says the company successfully makes 900,000 trip legs per year. And if you do the math, that's roughly 18,000 legs a year the company is unable to accommodate. And a government office wants to send you money. This is not an email scam. It's legit. It's been sitting around waiting for you to claim, and now the state auditor is not going to wait anymore. Maya Ellison explains the new law putting unclaimed property payoffs right in your mailbox.
The Great Arkansas Treasure Hunt is the name of the state auditor's most recent task, ensuring every Arkansan receives a little cash in their pocket.
Hi, I'm Arkansas Auditor State Dennis Milligan, and this is Bob. Bob has unclaimed cash in the Great Arkansas Treasure Hunt.
Wait, really?
You may have seen this commercial airing on our station, the Arkansas Auditor's Office's effort to make sure you know you could be entitled to an unexpected payday.
This isn't just limited, this is going to go all over the state.
They call it the Data Match, also known as the Great Arkansas Treasure Hunt. Through this initiative, Arkansans can now receive automatic checks through unclaimed property funds.
Allows us, as the Auditor of State, to send without any application if we owe you between $50,000 and $5,000 of unclaimed property.
Here's how it works. The auditor's office partners with a contracted company to search a database and begin the verification process. From there, pre-notification letters are sent to alert you. Then, the claims process begins.
Well, a lot of it comes from, believe it or not, old utility deposits that they tried to find the owner and they couldn't find it, so they sent it to us. It can come from inheritance. It can come from potentially insurance premium, maybe an overpaid premium.
Now, this is still in the early stages, but Senator Dave Wallace, who helped lead the charge, says it's something everyone should be looking forward to.
In some cases, the state has had this money for decades, multiple decades. And through the forward thinking of the team now, something's being done. And that money doesn't belong to the state. That money belongs to the people of Arkansas.
As for how much you could receive, Auditor Dennis Milligan says payouts range between $100 and $1,000. And finding out how to receive it is easier than ever.
Keep watching that mailbox, because there may be a check in it for you.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
The first checks are expected to hit mailboxes around September 2nd. To see if you have a claim or to learn more, you can visit thv11.com. And an old way to communicate is catching on with a new generation. Coming up a little later, we'll show you a group of young neighborhood friends are connecting using landlines. But first, it's time to eat it up.
Look what they did to my boy. That's
Look
good.
what they massacred my boy.
That's
the
a
way
good-
you hold your teeth together when you do it too.
That's what he
very,
does.
very Brando.
That's what he
man.
does, baby.
Very Brando.
This week on Eat It Up, we are back in North Little Rock in the Park Hill neighborhood. Y'all have got to try the Pizza Pub. This is a specialty all the way from Philadelphia. Y'all, I'm talking unbelievable sandwiches, salads that are completely different, tavern style pizza that will blow your mind. And yeah, I don't know if you like pineapples on pizza. After you watch this, you're gonna love it. So what do you say? Let's eat it up.
You know, we have Brewed and Barley down in Argenta, and our business partner here is Conan Robinson, who has Four Quarter Bar in Argenta also. So I've been here, moved down here from Philadelphia a little over 5 years ago. So Conan had the opportunity up here, so he came to Jess and was like, hey man, I want to do a pizza spot up the street, up in Park Hill. Are you guys interested in partnering up? You know, let's partner up and let's do it. So it used to be a storage room that we redid. Poor Tina, like hands and knees, scrubbing floors. They painted it, hung some beautiful like cork boards up in the back. We have a dart league in here on Thursday nights, but I mean any other night, I mean you can just go back there and toss darts. It's awesome, awesome. So we do what we call the Big Watch Tall. So it's our house-made red sauce. We make all of our sauces in-house. So house-made red sauce. It's a provolone and mozzarella shred over top, and then it gets jalapenos, fresh pineapple, not the canned stuff, fried bologna, red onion. And dude, it's been a banger for us. That's that Big Watch Tall right there. Wings, we do like 3 different like whiskey sauces. So we do like a Jameson pickleback sauce, we do a Crown Peach sauce, and we do like a Jack Honey Chipotle sauce. Brought my meatball recipe, and it's been killing me. It's been really good.
Yes, Eat It Up, not the Outdoor Report. Trey Reed is hanging out
What's up,
with me.
brother?
So I needed some help with some pizza. You've helped me so many times on the Outdoor Report. Getting my hunt on, now we're gonna get our grub on.
If you need any help eating, I'm always the man to call. Cheers.
All right, let's do it.
So it's like an Arkansas Southern take on the Hawaiian pizza.
That is amazing.
Fried bologna.
Don't you dare ever order a Hawaiian pizza from a chain again. All right, wings, you down? Your wings
Time
down?
for wings.
Dude, I love it.
So it's got like that tang of a buffalo, but the lemon pepper really.
It's not hot at all.
Not hot at all, but
No,
it's got
the lemon pepper too.
but it's got that tanginess that you really want out of a chicken wing.
So amazing.
All right, meatball time.
So I've never been to Philadelphia, but I feel like I'm about to take my first trip.
The seasoning runs all the way through there. It's not just like surface.
I feel like we need to watch The Godfather after this.
Yeah, could we play? To return this favor.
Return this favor. I must make you a meatball. Look what they did to my boy.
Welcome back. Well, it'd be hard to find anyone who doesn't own a cell phone these days, but it may be even harder to find someone who still owns a landline. That is, unless you live in a neighborhood in Maine where the old piece of tech is making a comeback in some households. Katie Delaney shows us how it all got started and how the trend is taking off with a younger generation.
For my birthday, I got a landline, and at first I didn't know what a landline was.
Molly thought it was a toy phone at first, but then her mom told her it was the real deal. And now Molly and her 8-year-old sister Piper are embracing the blast from the past instead of yearning for cell phones.
Hi, Gigi. You don't get addicted to the screen and stuff. All you do is just put it on your ear. You don't have to look at it. Hello? And it's like way more easier and funner.
For the past few months, Molly and Piper have been twisting their fingers in the cord, sometimes dialing the wrong number, and calling their loved ones.
I miss you. If we don't get to see them a lot and we just give them a call on the landline, that could make their day. Oh, hi, Mom.
The whole point of this was to increase their independence and increase their kind of own responsibility.
And that's exactly what happened.
You can plan your own play dates and you don't have to ask my mom to text or call the other parent.
And most importantly, Piper and Molly can schedule band rehearsals. The landlines make it even easier for these young musicians to get together to rock out. The only problem with getting Molly and Piper a landline was that their friends didn't have them. But their mom, Karen, got a bunch of families involved. And now they have a landline pod with about 24 people the kids can call.
We couldn't do this if I didn't have our friends and our family and our neighbors jump on board.
One of those neighbors is Melinda Hull, who got a landline phone for her 8-year-old daughter, Carly. Carly, calling from her phone, says she was happy to join her friends on the landline train.
It's wonderful. I mean, it's just so amazing. I just like how simple it is to just call my friend, and I can really listen and pay attention to what they're saying.
The parents of the landline pods say the phones are really helping their kids communicate and listen better.
It's a really marvelous opportunity to help her build those skills.
It's good stuff. It's a little strong. You okay over there, Nick? You all right, Nick?
In case you missed it, a new episode of The Tom Show is available to stream right now on THV 11+. I think Tom Brennan is a bad influence. With football season starting next week, Tom sat down with the THV 11 sports team to talk about the Razorbacks, and as you saw, they needed some liquid courage. Like we said, that is just one of several episodes you can watch right now. Be sure to go back and catch up with BJ Sams, Robin Richardson, and Elise Edie. It's only on THV 11+. And that's it for this week's installment of the 11 on 11. Remember, you can find new and original content all day on THV 11+.